So President Xi Jinping has already concluded his meeting with President Obama. In paper, a series of agreements was being signed. Of those agreements, what captured your attention the most? What would you call a breakthrough?
Yes, indeed, we have now seen a long list in the fact sheet released by both China and the United States. And some of the issues are traditional topics, but they have made new progress. And on some issues, they have fresh achievements made during the summit and state visit by President Xi Jinping in the United States. For example, the two sides have committed to speeding up the negotiations over the bilateral investment treaty, which is very crucial for the future development of the economic trade relations. And second, for example, for military relations, they would like to use the new channels of communication to increase their mutual trust. And one of the key issues in which they have made progress is the cybersecurity, because there has been so many discussions about that before the summit. And so many people even ask whether the two countries could manage the differences. Can they put these differences right under control, or will they lead to will the issue lead to conflict between the two major powers? So the answer from the summit is that finally they could find a way out of the difficult question. That is, the two governments commit that they will not engage in or support knowingly this cyber hacking against businesses and commercial targets for business gain. Secondly, they would like to establish a senior-level dialogue mechanism so that they can manage the differences, and they will establish a hotline just in case there is cases where they need to tackle with immediately. And thirdly, they would like to work with other countries in establishment of norms for cyberspace, because we know that cyberspace is a new area of security, and we lack of established rules in cyberspace. So the two countries have committed to working together with other countries to establish, talk about and establish the rules. And so there's a huge progress in this, and hopefully in the future. And actually, through this issue, the two countries have learned another lesson of how to manage the differences between the two countries, because there are so many differences, but they also have shared interests, so that despite all the differences, they can find ways to cooperate with each other to move their relationship between the two major powers to a situation where both countries can benefit, and also the whole world can benefit.
Now, you've touched upon specific issues, but let's also talk about the general tone being set there. President Xi has been talking about this great power relationship. How do you see that concept being received there in the States?
Well, a new model of major power or major country relationship is a concept presented by President Xi Jinping to President Obama in their 2013 summit, and the two sides reached a consensus on that. For that concept, it means that two major powers, one established power, meaning the United States, and the rising power, meaning China, should find a way to avoid any conflict or confrontation which were kind of a norm in the past, or centuries ago, or during the Cold War era. And also, in addition to that, of course, that is the bottom line. That is, the two countries should not enter into any conflict or confrontation, and that is the bottom line. Secondly, they should find a kind of a win-win approach to areas where they have shared interests, and that is, they can build towards confidence, mutual trust, through cooperation. And thirdly, actually, and they can manage their differences, and they should respect each other's core national interests. These are the major crucial aspects. So during the summit, actually, both countries commit to renewed efforts along this line of thinking. And so actually, we call it a new model of major power relationship. My belief is that actually it's normal relationship between two major powers. Why is that? Because a normal relationship between China and the United States should be one which avoids the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the former Soviet Union. And also, it should not be a relationship between the United States and China as allies, which, between the U.S. and its allies. It's not that kind of relationship, because China's, as a major foreign policy, China does not enter into any alliance with any countries. So it should not be a kind of alliance. And so it is kind of normal. It should be the way of conducting bilateral relations. And because that is a way which is conducive to the shared interests of both countries and also the world. And they have made progress on that, and we have seen major examples of success in this. Of course, they have to make sure that they continue to expand their cooperation and continue to manage their differences.
Right. One point that's being made clear that it doesn't have to be conflict and confrontation between existing superpower and a rising power.